of September. This is going extremely quick. I am still stuck in a hotel. Sadly, I have to work and do this as well. I hope we're all doing extremely well. Whatever we're doing, whatever we've been up to today. Normally, I typically do a couple of shows a day, but since I've been in work and I'm sort of away, I can't do anything during the day. But I'll always anticipate doing a show of an evening, no matter how late it is. 10 to 11, and that is my commitment to you guys and this community to do at least a show every single day. I think around this time of night, I think it's always useful to do a live show, get out our frustrations in the day. You know, some people are waking up, some people are just about to go to bed, and if you're like me, just come back in from a night out. Very, very tame, by the way. Just went out for literally two beers and a curry, and I'm literally back and back on with you guys as well. So a little bit more rested than yesterday. I'm not going to lie. Yesterday's absolutely just so tired. Back on it today. Back up early today. Back on it. Back at work, and then a little bit out, and then back on. And this is the highlight of my day. So if you are new here, get into this community. I'll tell you why we get into this community and why this community is amazing. Got people like Scott on here, one of the moderators, who is absolutely fantastic. What a person he is. This community is just amazing, and I'm going to give a big shout out to this community tonight as well, because there's a couple of videos that I've seen today that they're not annoyed me as such, but you know, some of the things that we talk about on here, and we've been talking about this for such a long time, and not that I'm annoyed with it, but it makes me so glad and so proud of this community, that the things that we've been talking about for literally weeks, for literally this week, yesterday, that some of the biggest channels now are talking about it, and we were literally talking about this last night. I almost feel like sometimes the bigger channels are watching us small guys, watching our communities, and and are hand-picking some of the subjects that we talk about a lot, and use it for their own content. And I'm not saying that that's true, but sometimes that's how it feels. No, he says, congratulations on the win against Chelsea, I guess. Mate, look, I thank you, but I think for me, I'll only accept the win. Well, don't get me right, it's a nice win to have, but for me, unless we win the next game, Chelsea becomes a bit redundant. Don't get me wrong, the 3 points are great. I love the 3 points. They are fantastic. But, they only become good if we can win the next game. So 3 points are good. But, for me, that result gets better if we win the next game. So what did I want to say? So tonight, again, thank you for being here. Get into this chat. This is an amazing community to be part of. You don't have to be a United fan. We have some amazing fans on here from Arsenal, Liverpool, City, not so much. Chelsea as well. We get all sorts of fans on here, so feel free to get into the chat. As I say, I've literally just come back in. How was work, JB? Oh, honestly, if I could do this job full time and create shows, mate, I'd love it completely. But it's working it. I mean, you've got to do what you've got to do to survive. You've got to do what you got to do to provide. And obviously, if this channel does well, which I'm praying it does, I can make this my job. But well, work is it's not bad, is it? Tonight I went out for a curry, and it was free, so life can't be too bad, can it? So feel free, guys, to get into the chat. I bought FIFA at the wrong time. Should have waited a few months. I hate the defending on it. I mean, I've literally played that one game, got absolutely spanked, which, by the way, is on the channel. So if you want to see a noob who's not played FIFA for about 10 years, get absolutely smashed. Jimmy, free curry. I know. Basically, I'm claiming expenses. So I got it was a Kerala curry, so I can't remember what it was. So it wasn't like a typical curry house. It was a Kerala curry, and it was like it reminded me of like a Danzak curry, slave fried rice. It was it was nice. I got it. Like sort of spicy, but not too spicy, and it was perfect. If you're ever up in Leeds, I can't remember what the curry house is called, but it was immense. So it was really really good. Um, Wenger says the defending is more skill based, no automatic AR defending. People need to try better and cannot rely on meta things too much anymore, which is fantastic. Wow, you are obviously a FIFA connoisseur. I am crap at FIFA. I'm going to get better. I will be doing some more videos on it. But if you want to laugh, go grab yourself a beer, go and pick yourself up a cup of tea, and go and watch me get spanked. The video is on there. I will not run away from my defeats. I was awful. So yeah, feel free to watch that out there. Jimmy says I had my first Vindaloo the other week, and my insides were on fire for about 3 days. I'm not far from Leeds. Yeah, so Jimmy, I don't live in Leeds. Up in Leeds on work. And yeah, so it's I don't know where I don't know if you know where the Banker's Cat is. It's called the Banker's Cat, and it's literally just down one of the side roads. Just there, an amazing place to go and eat. So yeah, I mean, free curry. Andrew says FC 26 is so much better than 25 people. Can't rely on AR defending. I've been playing FIFA since 2009. Haha, before 3 years of PES. So they definitely had my face. Well, all I'm going to say to you, my friend, I've been playing FIFA since FIFA. Jesus Christ. Whatever the Mega Drive FIFA was, I've been playing since then. And the thing is, as you get older, you get crapper. Yeah. So I'm really really bad at FIFA. I'm only playing FIFA, by the way, because I got because Scott said so. What I am planning to do on here, by the way, is I'm planning on doing some sort of FIFA sort of competition thing, and you guys can get involved, and I'll put it on the channel as well. So I don't know how it's going to work, but if you guys want to get involved in all that stuff, I would probably be the facilitator of it, because I'm awful at FIFA. So yeah, so I've got some things planned. I do have some things planned for the channel. Rob, hi my friend. I hope you're doing extremely well this evening. Charles Hayden says, "Wake the f up and play a real game. It's so much better." Like what, Charles? Give us a game. Are you talking about like a game in real life, like going to the park and playing? I don't know. Or are you talking about playing like a proper video game? Give us some more context. FIFA International, Jimmy, 100%. FIFA 98. Kilbasa J. So basically, I found my Nintendo 64. I'm completely moving away from the show, by the way. Again, this is a late night show, by the way, so we can get on to all sorts of stuff. We will get on to the topic in hand, but these late shows can go anywhere. So if you want to change, we can change. All I'm going to say is to obviously just be respectful as you can to the people in the chat. We can take the show on a different vibe. FIFA 98. So yeah, I found my Nintendo 64 and FIFA 98. So I might put that on the channel. I've played FIFA since 98. Indoor 5. So Andrew, I found my FIFA 98 and the Nintendo 64. So I'm going to try to make that work. I'm going to try to put that up just to basically see if it's still good. And I agree with you. Indoor 5v5 was amazing. Then it was FIFA 95. Abdullah says, I'll put 1k on a game right now. I'd rather you give me the K. I'd rather you give me the 1,000. Him says, oh mate, you live in Leeds. Sound. Oh mate, you live as Leeds. Sound. My man loves it. Oh, cool. Yeah, mate. I like Leeds. This is the third time I've been to Leeds. I really like Leeds. I like the people. I don't really think I've been anywhere up north where I don't like the people. Yeah. Abdullah, don't pull a 9-11. Radiant 86. The last time I proper followed football was when Van Nistelrooy was in United. Have I missed much? Radiant 86. You've missed a Champions League. You've missed a couple of Premier League titles. Other than that, mate, probably since 2013, not much, my friend. F1 guy says, do you think Amorin should get the sack? We'll come on to that as well, my friend. I will come on to that as well. I'm going to have a bit of not a moan about it, but I want to give you guys some credit on here as well. Ever since FIFA 15, I've played FUT with the silver bronze teams. Even I'm very thankful for evolutions nowadays. Mate, I couldn't play, mate. Even if you give me the best players on FIFA, mate, I'd still get spanked. So, Jimmy, Red Dead Redemption 2 is a good game to play, but a bit of a sports game is always fun. Let me know what your favourite games are of all time. I used to be a little bit of a gamer back in the day. Let me know. Andrew says, can we get into the Amorin? I just put a headphone in for this, yeah. Of course you can. Do a FIFA 98 stream. I might do that. Give me the 100k. Rage 86, you've missed 7-0. Exactly, mate. Exactly. All right, do me a quick test at you. Who's your favourite defender of all time? I would probably say Maldini. I think he's probably the best one. So I'm going to merge a couple of themes in here. So we're looking around tonight, as I do, I always keep ahead of my favourite game is lawn mowing sim, because it means I don't have to go outside to feel productive. Daniel, I love it, my friend. So I want to give this community massive praise, and the reason is because a lot of the things that we talk about, I think we talk about things well ahead of the game. Now I want to know, first and foremost, before I get into not my little rant, but my little sort of praise for this community here. So Amorin has had a 2.5-year deal, right? So he's pretty much 18 months into his deal. So by the time we get to next year, next window, well, not the next window, but the next summer window, Amorin basically has got a year left on his deal. Now, no manager is going to go into a year on his deal. So basically, we get to next summer and we either have to keep him or sack him. Now, what I want to know, really, the first thing is that, would you sack Amorin? So irrespective, really, of where he plays, would you, any comments about discrimination against Indians? Mate, look, this is, as much as as much as I value, on here we don't judge. I certainly do not judge. We absolutely do not, judge by colour, creed, anything on here. Absolutely open platform. It's not my place right now to be commenting on that. Not because I don't want to, just because it's not my place to. I'm not in full fledged of the facts. So I can't comment. And this is just not the right platform for that, my friends. But I fully appreciate what it is that you're saying there. So what I want to ask is, should Amorin be sacked? So let's just say, for example, what does Amorin need to do to get sacked, as in stay? So in your opinion, is it a case of Amorin goes anyway? Is it opinion of what does Amorin have to do to get sacked? So, for example, in my case, and I'm not going to shy away from this as well, Amorin next year will have a year on his deal. What does he have to do, in my opinion, to get sacked? And as much as I don't want to talk about it, I can't ask you guys a question. So I can't ask you guys and say, if you're Amorin out, what does he need to do to make you stay? And not answer the question myself and say, well, I'm Amorin in, but what does Amorin need to do to get sacked, right? So I'm going to answer that question as well, because I think that I've got to be fair and answer that question. But let me know your opinions on it. Business on 4 says, let's see what happens against Sunderland. Yeah, Andy Seal said, we shouldn't have sacked Ten Hag, 2 trophies in 2 years and top 4 in year 1. We're too quick to sack people. Andy Seal, do you know what? That's a very, very rare opinion that I've seen, but I don't disagree with it. I think we were very, very quick to sack him. With hindsight, do I think we should have? I think so, but I like that opinion. I really, really do. Amorin would resign. We're not sacking him. I don't think so. No room for racism. Exactly. There's absolutely no room at all, and we will not accept that on this channel whatsoever. So, absolutely with you there. So let me give you praise for the community first. So tonight, as I do, I check around. And Carlos says we can't keep sacking the managers. The players need to pay for the badge. Guys, I'm liking this tonight. Or already I will give people praise, and I will read comments out, whether they're Amorin in, Amorin out, whether you agree or disagree. But it's nice. It's absolutely nice to see people who are commenting tonight who kind of think the same way that I do, because it doesn't always happen, and it's not because my voice is the right voice. My opinions are not right; they're not wrong. It's just an opinion. Just because I say it doesn't mean that you guys are wrong as well. Jimmy, I'm with you. Andrew says you shouldn't have sacked Moyes so soon. I always find it funny. This only two signings made it the other way to Ollie. Other managers have players come and go way sooner. I agree. The thing is, right, with David Moyes, should we have sacked Moisey? And I'm gonna maybe offer up a controversial opinion here, and I don't know. And there's a reason why I'm going to say the thing that I'm about to say. Amorin reminds me of Moyes, not because they play the same football, or not because they are, similar people as such, but because were they the wrong manager, right? Were they the wrong manager? And second of all, should we have given them time? And as Andrew says there, should we have given Moyes time? Get that opinion in there. Should we have given Moyes time? Were we too quick to jump? Again, when looking back, we didn't give David Moyes his players. If David Moyes was right, I look at it in terms of this. If David Moyes was the manager now, and he was having the results that he did, would I have screamed for him out? No, I wouldn't have. I'm not going to lie, I wouldn't have. But David Moyes was the victim of being at the very start of the journey. So Alex finished 11th and 13th in his first 3 seasons. There was rumours about his sacking it in the 80s. Imagine telling really exactly. Alex Ferguson was saved by Robbins. There was an FA Cup game against City, I think it was, and he basically scored the winning goal, and that basically cemented him because they went on to win the FA Cup that season. And basically, yeah, it was that. So Amorin reminds me of Moyes in terms of it's an impossible job. David Moyes was a vast departure from Fergie. Trying to follow up Fergie was ridiculous. And Amorin coming in and changing a system from a back four to a back three there's so many similarities in between. What I mean is not the physical presence or not the actual tactical nous of both of them, was just the impossible tasks that they both had to do. So it's almost like a bookend, right? Let's have a look at what they're saying. Change the gameplay and the report. Too many divas in the big clubs, and they're too big for the club they're playing for. Ferguson made sure that he brought them down to earth, which is why this is his squad. And I think Amorin is doing the same. Moyes inherited an aging team and wasn't able to put his own players in. If Moyes hadn't have had such a bad stint at United, he would have landed another big job and not set himself as a mid-table guy. Andrew, and this is exactly, my friend, this is exactly this is exactly, I guess, the point that I'm trying to make as well, is that, David Moyes has a bad thing, but, he inherited, as Andrew said, he inherited an aging squad. Amorin has inherited, you can argue, a better squad in terms of age and players, but again, it's a squad that is not his squad. So I think for me, just thinking about and going back to the comment on Moyes, I wouldn't have sacked Moyes so quickly now, no, because not what I know with hindsight, and not what I know with 13 years of utter crap. For me, Amorin needs to go on a run of unbeaten games. I agree, Rob. About the manager, but if we keep getting beat, something will have to change. But I agree, can't keep sacking the manager. TTSS, yeah, Liverpool are a good team. Not enough is spoken about David. Yeah, Andy, I agree completely. When I always talk about Ferguson leaving, I'll always say it wasn't about just Fergie leaving. It was about David Gill as well. David Gill and Fergie were like this. They knew how the club run. They knew finances. They knew how to get the best out of this team. They knew how to get the best out of the finances of this club as well. Andy, I agree with you completely. Those two leaving at the same time was probably the biggest catastrophic thing that could happen to this club. I think didn't Phelan leave as well. I think David Moyes basically went in and sacked the whole backroom staff, and then Phelan left, and then Edwards left. Obviously, sorry, Gill left, and Ferguson left as well. So it was just an absolute horrendous time. The managers we had weren't backed by the club. Josie had won everything still and got backed. Moyes had his own way of doing things, and United players were used to Fergie. One player said in an interview, when Moyes came in, he used to focus on an opposition tactics on Fergie. That was Ferdinand, wasn't it? Now every single manager in the Prem has a team of opposing scouts and reviews. I don't like Liverpool. And Andrew Edwards says United players were not open to change and they were too set in. And I'm back. Andrew, as you always do, Andrew, you always make very intelligent comments on here, my friend, as you always do. And I think with David Moyes, one of the things that I'll always say about Moyes, right, is that imagine, right, the worst thing possible for me with Moyes was, imagine you're walking into a club, right, where you've not won a Premier League, you've not won any trophies, and you're trying to tell a bunch of players how to win Premier Leagues when they've already been there, they've already won Premier League. So I think that the problem with Moyes, for me, the fundamental thing with Moyes, why he was always doomed to fail, was because how can you come into a club as a manager and a coach and coach and tell players who've won multiple Premier Leagues, a Champions League, you've never won a Premier League, how to win a Premier League? So he was always doing, and I'm not saying this because he was the wrong guy, he probably was, but you can't tell somebody how to do something if you've never done it yourself. So I think the appointment from us was absolutely wrong. Let me tell you of a poor boy who was sent far away from his home to fight for his king and his country. Yeah, Arsenal was still trusting the process. Rene was a great assistant after Sir Alex. We should have kept the team Sir Alex had behind him, but each manager exactly. Elijah says, make you rub one out after you. Make you, yes, Elijah. My specs ask you because my specs are, I don't know, they're just my specs, mate. Yeah, but I am, Elijah, I'm glad that you're paying so much attention to me, mate. I really hope that you're not doing anything a bit weird. Liverpool is the best team in the world at the moment. Well, they're not, are they? Chelsea are, because Chelsea proved that. So Chelsea are officially the best club in the entire world because they won the Club World Cup and we beat them. So by proxy, United are the best team in the world. There you go. Eddie F says, so they put him in Highland Division, sent him off to a far foreign land. Yep. Elijah said, skew because you... Oh, Elijah, mate, you're obsessed. Elijah, you're obsessed, my friend. Sebastian Espinosa says, are we Amorin in or Amorin out this week? Exactly. Mate, I am Amorin in after Grimsby. Amorin in. So what I wanted to do, let me just get through these chats and then I'll tell you where this has all come from. Nathan, I'm Nathan, my friend. Yeah. The new agent of Amorin. Yeah. All Ruben needs to match Amorin's legacy is win the FA Cup. Chelsea not even top 10. Chelsea struggled tonight against Lincoln. Out of interest, did you get them from Specsavers? I didn't actually. I got them from a local high street shop. Liverpool even in the tournament. Sorry, bro, too smart. Let's have a little look. What have we got going on? Mad that we're even having the conversation where he's been here less than a year. Give that exactly, Andy. And I mean, Andy, if you watch any of my videos, I'm Amorin in, but Andy, we're having these conversations right now. The reason why I'm bringing this in tonight, right, is because the last couple of nights, in the last 2 weeks, what we've been talking about on here, or what I will always say, is this: I'm at Amorin in, and you watch the videos, you watch the Grimsby one, blah 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 blah. I'm Amorin in, right, and the reasons why I'm Amorin in is because I don't believe this is not the manager. This is not his tactics. This is not the formation. Last season, he wasn't given a team. It wasn't his team last season. Whether people are hammering in or out, it wasn't his team last season. So as far as I'm concerned, last season was a free hit, right? You know, you bring in, you basically bring in a guy who's never played a system. This system, we've never played this at all, right? Never. So you bring him in, ask him to do this without his players, ask him to do this with the wrong players. As much as I criticise these players are not right for the system. You don't give him his players, but yet he's supposed to do something with this team, right? So I'm Amorin in. Now, what we have been saying on here, and I've been consistent on this, is where I am Amorin in, I'm not blind to it all, but I may have to accept that Amorin is not the guy. And one of the things that we've been talking about on here, and we've been talking about this for weeks and weeks and weeks, and I've seen this on a big channel tonight, and it's not pissed me off, but it annoys me that people like channels like this with you guys on here, and you guys, and this is why this community is so fantastic, is that we talk about this stuff weeks ahead of people, and we've been saying on here that maybe Amorin is not the guy. You can still be Amorin in, right? You can be staunchly Amorin out, right? Which many of you guys are. You're Amorin out, and I fully respect that opinion. That's why I read your opinions on here, because I respect them. But I've said from the start, there's two things that I've said, and we've been saying this for weeks, is that number one is why did Ineos, this is my question, did Ineos get it wrong? Doesn't mean that Amorin is a bad manager. But when you've, and this goes to prove, in fact, this will go to look bad on Ineos. This will go to look bad on a Barada, on a Wilcox, that they wanted this guy in, right? Amorin, they wanted this guy in. I think as a fan base, maybe we wanted Amorin, but I don't think we were necessarily all jumping on the bandwagon of him. They decided to go against what we've always done as a team and do something different. Play a back three, go away from a back four and play a back three. That is what they decided to do. And did Ineos make that mistake? You know, Ineos at Nice, they absolutely have dropped the ball at Nice many, many times. You know, have they made a mistake? Is it Amorin's fault? You know, no. I don't think, you know, if you're going to come and a manager and give him a bunch of money and ask him to turn this club around, and you're telling him that you're going to get him his players, because they definitely would have said that. Was Amorin the right guy? And we've asked this. I've seen this tonight on the biggest channel out there, asking the question: is Amorin the right guy? Did Ineos, you know, was this? We've been saying this on here for fucking weeks. We've been saying this. We were talking about this last night. We've been talking about this over and over again. Is that just because we've got Amorin, just because I'm Amorin in, it's not about that now. It's about, should Amorin have come, and did Ineos make the right choice? And whatever happens here, this is going to look bad on them. Because if they've hired the wrong guy, because if you look at the squad, right, I've criticised this squad many, many games, right? They don't have the mentality necessarily. They're the wrong fit for the squad. Then whose fault is that? You bring in you look at Liverpool, you look at Slot. They brought in the right manager for the right system, and they won a league without spending a penny. So this is what I'm asking the question, and I'm giving you guys praise, because this is what we do on here, right? We don't just talk about shit for the sake of talking about it. We talk about things, and in bigger channels, I'm not saying that they nick our stuff, but I'm just saying that bigger channels then come out with this because we talk fucking sense. And just, oh, Moyes not winning a Prem, Slot hadn't won a Prem, Wenger, Mancini, Ranieri, as a player, your job is to listen to the manager, not judge if he knows more or less than you on the previous post. I agree with you. You know, I'm not condoning the United players here. I'm not saying that. I'm just giving a viewpoint, and Andrew, I completely take that point on board as well. So I'm giving an opinion that that it's difficult, right? You know, you should command that respect. And when we're talking about the dressing room and where the toxicity came from, did it start then? You know, did it start that Ferdinand, Vidic? You know, I think Giggsy was here. You know, was that arrogance from there? You know, because David Moyes came into the club and he never won a trophy. You know, was it their right to be arrogant? You know, should they have just gone, we're going to listen to the manager? So, you know, does it all stem from there? You know, is that what the real issue is here? Is that, you know, we've allowed players ever since Fergie left to basically control the dressing room and dictate what this club is instead of allowing a coach to coach and give him his players. Nathan says Amorin seems a one-trick pony. Clear concepts. Hindi says shut up. Oh, that's not very nice. That's not very nice. I still feel we have to give Amorin a chance, bit more time. I agree with you. Amorin prefers a 3-5-2, but MU can't play it. Exactly, I don't think we have the player. Nathan, Amorin needs time. I give up on Amorin. Don't give up just yet. It says 11th, 2nd, 11th, 13th, 6th, 2nd. Sir Alex wasn't the guy until he was the guy. The fandom wanted him fired. Exactly. And this is all important as well. Stephen Espinosa says maybe United itself is the problem. Sebastian, it is, mate. I agree with you completely. That the biggest problem is here. And what we say on this channel is that even though we talk about, and we'll say, is Amorin the guy? Possibly not, right? You get Xavi in, you get Zidane in. They're not coming in, by the way. It's going to be Southgate. They're not going to be the guys until the Glazers are removed. And I'm gonna repeat this until they fuck off. Until the Glazers are purged from this club, and Ineos are purged as well, this club will always be toxic. Until that layer is moved and this club is completely purged of the cancer, then we're never going to be purged of this, and we're always going to have these problems here. And I think you're absolutely right, Sebastian. Our problem is ourselves. DJ Darkest Night. If Amorin could tinker sometimes, if you know what I mean, change the system when needed. Yeah, again, right? DJ, I don't disagree. I mean, I will say I don't think it's not the formation for me, and it's not the tactics. We've proved it. But I do think you're right. I think we could tinker, and I'm not even saying let's go to a back four. Maybe some of you will argue that we should, but play the players in the right positions. If Amorin just played the right players in the right position, then we would have more joy, which I agree with you. And we can talk about that as well, because I think Amorin, again, Amorin is talk of my shows, because there are many things that I've seen, and we can talk about Amorin where I think I've got opinions on this as well, and I'll get through the chat and we'll talk about that as well. Espirito would be a better choice. I don't know, my friend. I don't know. I completely agree. It's players and recruitment. People saying that United has a curse or some other crap excuse. They just don't. Exactly. It's just really easy. It's just really easy. When all the players are blowing hot and cold, there's a problem. Only love. Exactly. I think Amorin was going to take over from Pep, yes, and United thought he could take over from Pep. He can do this very different job. Andrew, exactly, mate. Exactly. I think that Omar Barada came in, and I think he thought he sort of had an ace up his sleeve, And look at that transpired. Teddy Morning says, Amorin out your mong. Lovely, Teddy. That's not very nice, is it? That's not very nice at all. He's a stubborn sob, but so is Fergie. Exactly. Thank you, Scott. Exactly. Teddy, you're a Saz. Oh, Teddy. I bet you're the sort of person that is at home right now, living with his mum. Look, I'm not going to be too hard on you, Teddy, because you might be a minor. That's all I'm saying. Teddy, you might be underage. So I'm not going to go too harsh, because just in case you are a minor, because, kids are very sensitive. It's them Chinese kids you have. Exactly. Teddy's on one, mate. Teddy's having a bad night, isn't he? Teddy, bless him. Emmy says, morning, I agree with Amorin out, but you ever called JB and him again? I'm going to fight. Thank you, Emmy. Thank you, mate. See, this is why this is the best community. It's not only do we call things out, but people are prepared to come around your house and, so, thank you, guys. 343 is a good thing, but if you hit a wall, you tweak it. Otono, if you don't have a better play, tweak it. But Amorin is way too stubborn until it feels like he just wants to be sacked. Do you know what, Otono? I actually agree with you pretty much. I don't. Do you know what? I say a lot of words on here. I think you've pretty much summed it up in less words than I've said probably on many shows. I think you're right. I think 3-4-3 is fresh, but if you don't have the players to play it, tweak it. It is as simple as that. And I think you are. And I think when you're talking about being stubborn until he's been sacked, I'm going to come on to that because I think that's a bloody good point. Lucky Singh, legend of the chat, as always, my friend. We have stupid fan base. How think our players levels are on Arsenal, City's, and Liverpool's? They're not. I don't think our fan base is stupid. I think we are frustrated. I think we are absolutely frustrated, and I get that. I really do. Unpopular opinion, but I think we should rehire Ole, not as a manager. I'm not crazy, but as a scout. The guy has an eye for undiscovered talent. Haaland, Jude, Casino, Enzo. Emmy, do you know what, Emmy? We disagree a lot. You know that I love you to pieces. We disagree a lot. I don't disagree with you. I do not disagree with that. I think that Ollie was a very good watcher of players, right? So, Emmy, I think you're spot on there with something, mate, because if you look at Ollie's career, right, and I'm probably going to bore you to death now, when Ollie used to play football and he was a substitute, right, it wasn't luck that he used to come onto the pitch and score goals. He used to watch players. So he would know a good defender from a bad defender because he watched them. So it absolutely, Emmy, makes perfect sense that I think Ollie would be a great scout. I think you're right. I think you hit something on there, my friend. Taylor May says, a Liverpool fan here. Sorry, it's not a manager you need. It's the owners, directors, and analysts. Taylor, do never apologise for being respectful. Never apologise for being a fan of a different club. You are welcome here. Absolutely 100%. Liverpool fan, respectful. Look, what is ridiculous, right, is you've got a Liverpool fan who's not only polite, he apologises and actually speaks sense as well. So Taylor, legend. I agree. It's not just the manager, it is the owners, it is the whole team. Taylor, mate, it sickens me that not only do you seem like a nice person, you support a team that's doing extremely well, and you clearly know what you're talking about as well, mate. Emmy, like I've said many times, it's not 3-4-3, it's the 5-2-3 out of possession. It's the issue. Glasner plays a 3-4-2-1, but he plays 3-4-2 and out of possession. That's why Palace don't get. Emmy, mate, I'm again. I think you're right. It's not the formation. It's not the formation, as you say. It is the tactics. It's not necessarily the tactics, but is it though? it is the way that he deploys the tactics, but it's also the personnel as well. So Emmy, again, Emmy, we're sort of agreeing a bit tonight, mate. We're sort of agreeing a bit tonight. Glazers aren't going anywhere. I agree. They have never ending cash cow. Why in the world would they leave? They don't care if you're not. Andrew, exactly. As Ralph said, do we still open up surgery? Hell yes, we do. Eddie Video Star says, dear the United channel, Amorin was experimental. He is here to make the plays better, was the reasonings of the executives. Interesting, Eddie Video Star. I think that's a very, very good point to make. I agree with you. I do agree. It was very experimental. But the problem with experimental is that you've got to accept sometimes that the experiment doesn't work. Right? I'm a little bit of a geek. I love science, and if you know anything about science, you look at any test they've done in the world. It's basically an experiment, right? All the best things in life have come from an accident or come from an experiment, right? But 9 times out of 10, those experiments don't work. And are we coming to a point now where this experiment doesn't work anymore? I'm Amorin in. I'm never going to say that until it comes to a point. And I will answer the question towards the end. What will it take for me for Amorin to go? But whilst I agree with that, we have to accept that the majority of experiments fail. Also, Ineos are cheap as shit. So the reason why they've gone for it is because it's cheap. All right, and again, we'll detour a bit as well. Is that what's come out today, and this is start to come out many sources, is that these players, Amorin and Amorin has been allowed to be like hung up to dry a bit as well. Is that most of these players, Šeško wasn't Amorin's choice. Now this is why Maignan is on the thumbnail. So Maignan, Amorin is fighting for a new goalkeeper. Now Le Mans, again, apparently Amorin spoke to Costa quite a lot. He spoke to Emi Martinez quite a lot because those are the keepers that he wanted to sign. Hasn't spoken to the men's once before he was signed. Now, what is quite clear with Amorin, and this is the personality that I think is, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong on this one, is that Amorin is very passive aggressive. And what I mean is that he'll basically just get you out without being aggressive about it, right? So he won't say anything bad about you. It'll be very passive. But the actions that he'll take are very aggressive in terms of Onana. He's gone. Le Mans is not playing. He's not being rude. He's being very, very passive about it. But he's just not playing him. But he wants a new goalkeeper. It's almost a bit like when you have a child and they want an ice cream and you buy them an ice cream, but they don't want that one. Even though it's a perfectly good ice cream, they want the other one, and they refuse to eat it. They refuse to it until you buy them the one that they actually want, and then they buy it, and then they want them both. So Amorin, to me, right now, he's playing a very, very dangerous game. So does he want Maignan? No, he doesn't. But he wants a new goalkeeper. Le Mans is not his guy, and I think this is why Le Mans isn't playing. As much as I think Le Mans is going to be perfectly fine, I don't think he rates Le Mans. And again, this is not about the goalkeeper situation as such for me. This is the problem, and this will feed into basically why Amorin ultimately may not be the guy out, and why he may not last the season, even if we're going to win, because I think he's rubbing Ineos up the wrong way. I genuinely right now don't just think it's going to be the results that are going to end this. I think it's Amorin, and I think where he is, and I will answer that question, and let's get through this chat. Blue Games says Amorin changed his mind, but a lot of people like him thought Bruno called off in Bumo's substitution. Basically, mate, yeah. Say bye-bye. Yeah. Scott banned this idiot. Exactly, Scott. Thank you very much, mate. That's a bit harsh, mate. We may be disgruntled, but stupid. Eddie Video Star, yeah, we've read that as well, mate. Amorin in, give him a lifetime contract. Thank you. If not Amorin, then who? Exactly. Not Southgate. I agree with you. We will fight for JB. This isn't the United Stand where you can harass everyone and they have to suck it up and move on. Exactly. We are a community on this channel. We are collaborative. Like, I will read out your chats. You know, this isn't just me telling you my opinion. I will give you my opinion and then I'll go for the chats. This is how we do it on here. Deep Feeling says, hello, my friend. You don't disagree with me. I need to sit down. I know, ME, I must be drunk, mate. It must have been those 2 beers. Sean Preston says, it's coaching 101. Play a style that suits your player pool. Once you've had a couple of windows to change the players and bring in what you need, then adapt the system. Sean, mate, exactly. And I think that is exactly it. You know, when I personally talk about, it's not the formation and it's not the tactics. I don't think fundamentally it is. But tonight I agree with ME. You know, you there's certain things that you've got to change. Sean, I agree with you. Like, if you don't have a player pool to play your goddamn system, then buy yourself time. And I'm not saying pander to the players. What I'm saying is, like Sean says there, it's going to take you a couple of windows, right? So get the players in that you need, and then once you've got them, then you can play your style. But you can almost play a hybrid of the styles, whilst getting the players used to those. But then after 3 windows, you've got your players in. You know, it's Sean. I agree with you, my friend. Agree with you. Ollie back at the wheel. No, Ollie the scout. Please be respectful. Exactly. Good evening, Deep Filling. Inspired TV says, hi. What are you trying to say? I'm a Liverpool fan, JB. Hello from Iran. Hello, my friend. Choosing between Amorin and Southgate is like choosing between Savile babysitting travel or Bundy taking your daughter out on a date. Oh, Emmy. Thank you. All the other channels have high negativity. They do. Fortnite says, do you own XRP? No. I'm a science man. Most of our weapons were designed when the chips were down. Yep. Emmy, you know I'm Amorin out, but I also want to be. I also don't want to be too harsh on him. Hang on, whoa. I know I'm Amorin out, but I also want to not be too harsh on him. Emmy, what's going on with you? But just tweak the system in his defence. You can keep your 5 back, but just bloody hell, Emmy, what is going on with you tonight, mate? What is going on? You're being too nice. Andrew was. It really depends on how much you like your kid. I'd happily sit back and watch either as long as we were in charge of United, not mine. Shocked we didn't get Emmy. That one did throw me sideways, I'll be honest. Yeah. Fans huge head loss will come. I don't understand Amorin's thinking, buying players that he won't play. Yeah, and a lot of this, I think the misconception around this as well this season is that Amorin hasn't had his own way. These are not all of Amorin's players. You know, these Shesko is not Amorin's players, and Amorin cannot hide. I like Amorin on the basis that he says what he thinks and he does what he says, and he doesn't play players that he doesn't buy or rate. But that's going to be a problem for him. So I think there's a common misconception that Amorin buys all these players and it's his word. It's not. It's a football choice. I think Amorin probably only got one of his first picks. I think Vinga says, man, I just watched If FIFA 26, I felt so bad for you. You opened all the packs, and if they were terrible, I was screaming like, you don't have to open that pack. Look, I'm a noob, right? I'm an absolute noob, mate. I literally have no idea. So feel free to educate me in basically the ways of FIFA. Yeah, I am awful. Hold on. Why are we not in the training room? Have you got the Chinese kids decorating? I'm in a hotel room, mate. Sugar Ray says wanted £100 for. Yeah, we're not getting onto that, my friend. Why can't I see lucky messages? I don't know, my friend. Big Sam will take over after. Oh, Daz, don't even upset me, mate. Don't even upset me. He's away for work. Most people get a brass, and he settles for it. Andrew. Exactly, mate. Exactly, mate. Oh, exactly. Oh, Andrew, you crack me up, mate. Crack me up. He's off to kidnaps. Big Sam, step in the short term. Honestly, at this stage, mate, that's. You guys are going to give me a bad name, please. Oh, okay, yeah. All right. Can someone correct the title? Yeah, I will. I'll correct it, mate. I literally put this show together in literally like 5 minutes. Yeah. It's all on me, mate. It's all on me. It's all on me. Cash says, for me, we should give Amorin time. I agree with you, lads. The next 2 games will define our season. I agree. Who you get to replace him? It's going to be Southgate. It's going to be Southgate. It is going to be Southgate. Yeah, have no qualms about that. It's going to be Southgate. Andrew says, I'm just putting it out there. We can only see top half. Who knows what's going on down under? Great poker face. Look, mate, it would be the most boring thing to see what's down in the bottom half, mate. It really would. If Southgate steps in, I'll call myself. Well, Daz, look, I think you need to be going to get that change, mate, because very, very credible sources. Sir Jim is very, very keen on Southgate. So, if I was you, mate, I'd be lining up that surgery. Andrew, great to see you laugh. Sheska will be an insane play. He's not Amorin signing. That's Ineos. They've apparently been watching him for 18 months. Every single manager in the Premier League should be able to adapt as they work towards their plan. Stubbornness in the face of negative results is just dismal. A very, very intelligent comment there, my friend. I don't disagree with it. I think as much as again, it's not formation, it's not tactics in terms of you look at what we did in the Chelsea game until we had a man sent off, like the Arsenal game. But where I agree with you, and I think I absolutely need to. You can do a self-portrait. Well, I absolutely have to concede this now, which I didn't before, but I do now. It's Amorin has to change something. He can't be so. He has to do something here. And I'm not talking about changing his system necessarily from a back three, but as Emir said, out of possession, change it. Put players in their right place. And B-Doc, you're right. He's been very, very stubborn. JB can do a self-portrait. Why are you talking about Amorin now, even after we won? Red Devils, we're not talking about Amorin out. We're not talking about it. Right? We're not talking about Amorin out. I mean, I know you've been here before, but I am Amorin in, right? This is not the conversation tonight. The conversation tonight is that, as I've been saying, and as now other bigger outlets than ours, even though we've been talking about this for a couple of days, weeks even, is that it's not about Amorin in or out anymore. It's about, if Amorin is in, how do we keep him in? So if you're Amorin out, what's it going to take to keep him in? And if you're Amorin what is it going to take to push him out? And I will answer that question. So it's not about in or out. It's now about, you know, if we're looking at the last couple of days, I will come on to that. Let me just get through some of these more chats, and I'll give you my opinion on that. Danny Aaron said he wouldn't have got married during the season, which is crazy to me. He's replaced. If he's replaced, we should go for Brazil and see if Ancelotti fancies it. Do you know what? I would absolutely agree with that. Getting this third leg taken care of. Simeone for me. How do you think United will fare against Brentford? Mate, I mean, the sad thing is, I'm going to say that we're going to win. But can I say with any conviction? No. I think we'll win. I think we'll be a scrappy win. I think it'll be a scrappy 2-1 win. I don't think, like, have we turned the corner? I can't guarantee that. So I think we'll win, but I think we'll be a scrappy win. Bluey Games, La Liga and the Prem are very different. He was successful and won a sextuple with Prime Barca. What has Simeone won? Yeah. I'm Amorin in. He's acknowledged the scale of the pressure many times. I just wanted him to be smart. I think he's the guy, but he needs to buy more time. I agree with you. B-Doc, I agree with you. And I tell you why I agree with you, but I tell you why it's concerning me right now as to why I don't understand why he's not doing it. I wonder what our fans think. If not Amorin, then who exactly? So I'll come on to that. So Amorin right now concerns me, and the reason why he concerns me because he seems to be still fighting with everybody. So there's stories yesterday that he wants another goalkeeper. Yesterday, he's not happy. Today he seems to be fighting and he wants another keeper. When these stories come out through the media about Amorin wanting new goalkeepers, all right, there always seems to be a thing whereby he's not happy. That's quite clear. He is not happy. He's not been happy since the Grimsby game. And it is something about Amorin right now that's just not right. It's just not right. It's just, as Scott says, I want him. I want to give him until the end of the season, right? I'd give him until even if we finished 15th. I don't want to sack another manager. Would I give him another deal? I don't know, but I don't want to see him sacked. But I find him at the moment he's been very, very stubborn, and as much as I am Amorin in, I don't find that quality a quality that I admire in a manager where in a profession, in a high intensity sport where you need to adapt basically minute on minute, season on season, minute on minute, and Amorin is just not adjusting to that. And I don't know whether it's stubbornness, whether it's a tactical thing that he can't, and I always say that I don't think it is the tactics, but is it because he can't adjust to the Premier League? Is he so stubborn that Amorin is literally refusing to play Lemens because he's not his guy? And that's the worrying part for me. Could Conte be in the frame? Expensive. I again, there were some managers from the sort of outset I'd go no, but Conte, Conte has proven again, hasn't he? So I know Conte could be the guy, but where I'm at on it is that Conte is weak and full of crap. So where I'm at on it is that what's it going to take for me? And I'm going to answer this question. To be fair, what's it going to take? So I'm Amorin in right now, but what's it going to take for somebody like me who is Amorin in, who has defended him against Grimsby, who will defend him until Christmas, who will defend him even if he finished 15th, that I don't want him sacked. What's it going to take for me to say, look, he is not the guy? The moment that Amorin basically starts to the Nothing Guy says, what are your thoughts on legends and pundits disrespecting Amorin? How many United won against Chelsea? But they did it. Look, ex-players, look, people, I don't want to put ex-players down because I think there are too many YouTube channels out there that disrespect ex-players because they think it's cool to do that, right? No, they put down ex-players because, just because they played football, define a woman. Oh, honestly, no. That disrespect ex-players' opinions because, just because they played the game. In some respects, I think big channels that put ex-players down are they're jealous, right? Because they want to make their channel seem more of a credible thing because because they can't come back because I've not played the game at at any high standard, but I don't always agree with ex-players, right? I agree that some ex-players' opinions are not better than yours or mine, but I also can't put their opinions down, right? But I do agree with some of them. I'm never going to be like other channels and disrespect them because they have played the game, and I know that's a phrase that Jesus Christ. Hotel Wi-Fi. So just because you've played the game doesn't mean their opinion is better than yours, but also conversely, it's just because they played the game doesn't mean their opinion doesn't matter either. So it really does depend on the player. If you're talking, somebody like Zidane, or you're talking about Maldini, or you're talking, again, Giggsy, Beckham, if you're talking about elite players, elite players who've trained, played the game, managers, why should you listen to their opinions? So I'm of that opinion whereby there are some footballers who are YouTubers and they get put down, right? But the fans can disrespect because they're fans, but pundits disrespecting a manager live is crazy. Yeah, and I'm just kind of prefixing the sort of thing, right? So in terms of us fans and those players, I think it's always interesting to listen to different people's opinions, right? But ultimately form your own opinion, right? But to go back to what the Nothing Guy says there, I will come back to your point, is that as an ex-player of this club, and you are supposedly play for it. Now, Roy Keane is a bit of a different one, but again, Roy Keane puts Ferguson down, right? Okay, but he's always got the best. He's always got the best for this club at heart, right? And I find it absolutely just amazing that, as the Nothing Guy says, you want your ex-club to do well. We're in the mire. You can see that these players are not right for the system. You can see this manager's been hired. He's probably not the guy, but you disrespect this manager. Now, can you imagine you disrespecting Fergie? You disrespecting the manager? There's this total lack of respect. The hypocrisy at times is absolutely ridiculous. Now, they all talk about, Fergie was the guy, and you don't talk outside of, the team, and you keep everything in house. But they'll happily now because they're away from the club. Those honourable things that make you part of this club, they now seem to go away because they've got a voice. Now, yes, have your opinions, but disrespecting a manager, there is a difference in my book between criticism in the right way, in terms of you are criticising and you analyse what a manager does, as opposed to just putting a manager down. So what is he supposed to do? And I agree. I think these players are hypocrites. Not all of them, but I think a large chunk of these players, ex-players, are hypocrites. Not for their opinions, but for how they talk about a manager in a way that they wouldn't talk about a manager back in their day. Worst one for me is Neville. He always slates aside. Neville's a prick. I can't stand him. If a goal is scored when it's observed, but observing it changes the play, did the ball ever truly cross the line, or was it a goal just a shared illusion? I like that. It's like if a tree falls in a wood and you're not there, does it make a sound? I don't know. Sohail says Amorin does not have the character and quality to lead United. B grade manager, City grade playing style. How low do you want to go? That's a valid opinion, mate. I know I can't disagree with that opinion. I always like to read your opinions and then maybe not come back on it because I think I'm right, but just to give you that context. Yeah, is Amorin the right guy? I want to give him time to find out. Roy Keane is too passionate. Roy Keane is I love Roy Keane. Keane is talking to the players in the dressing room. Everyone's a cup final. No kissing, hugging in that tunnel. I mean, Keane wouldn't last 2 seconds today. Keane would be. Imagine Roy Keane today. Roy Keane would probably be the first player sacked by HR because they just wouldn't have him in there. He disrespected himself. You need one of the Fergie's soldiers to bring that feel back to United, draw some discipline and winning mentality, confidence, and status. So here, I think, whilst I agree with the principle, right? I agree with the principle. I don't agree with Amorin is disrespecting himself. I don't think he is. But I value the opinion, but that doesn't work anymore, mate. It's a different time. It's a different time. It basically reminds me of talking about the war, right? When my grandfather used to say, when he used to talk about the war, or when he used to talk about the old days, right? The principles are the same. I understand the principles, but the game has moved on so much that the discipline in the game now is different, and you can't go in them and you can't clip around like the back of the ear, and you can't do that now, and it's such a different game. Jay United says, let's put it simply, if Amorin gets sacked today, how many top teams would take him? Let me tell you, none, because he clearly is not good enough. Jay, respect the opinion as always. I disagree. I disagree that he's not a top manager, but who's going to take him? No one's going to take him. But I don't think you can sort of judge that right now, because his stock is going to be so low that no one's going to take him. West Ham would. Cantona is a legend. Gary Neville is a lie. Seagulls chasing a trawler. I love it. If the referee blows the whistle in a match he hasn't started, did the game ever truly begin, or is time itself as offside? Of course it makes a sound. Just because we're not there to hear it doesn't just fall silently. Makes the same noise. But does it though, ME? Does it? Euro was on the bench. He was dropped for Maguire, or was he injured? Harry did well, but I'm surprised. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Euro. There might be something else. Number 21 incoming up the Reds. ADF. Dying Light, the Beast is an amazing game. I don't know. I've not played it. Remember, the only comic book character from the old days, Billy's Boots. The Nothing Guy, the pundits and legends of... I can't even read it. The pundits and legends of United are not helping the situation by giving their stupid disrespect on a manager. You can't rely compared to the current phase. The phase, yeah, I agree with you. Fun fact, in 1954, Wolves finished first. Liverpool finished last. That's not going to happen, though, is it? The Plays List Factory said, if every pass defines the game, but the game defines every pass, who really is controlling the ball, or is the ball controlling us? Well, that's what I say to the missus. Is it my no? I'm not going to get into that. So before I go, I think it's only fair that I say, if I'm asking you what it's going to take for you to be Amorin in or out, I'm going to have to answer that myself. So if so what's it going to take for me? And I'll pretty much put up with most things. What's it going to take for me to be Amorin out? And where I think I'd be Amorin out is the moment that his stubbornness disrespects what it is this club is about, right? So what I mean by that is that, you know, if Amorin's principles overshadow the actual job of this club. So we're a club that we play youth. We need to be exciting. You know, the principles of this club are we need to play our youth. We need to play exciting football. We need to be brave. We need to entertain. We need to be fearless. We want to win. If Amorin's stubbornness and the way that he wants to play is overshadows the club and what it is that we're trying to do. Now, as the Glazers, we know that they're scum. They're not going to go anywhere at all. Ineos as well. We know we sort of know that as well. But if Amorin starts to put his own personal pride and his own style of playing before the club, you know, things like, you know, if he's got Maignan and we're never going to know this, if Maignan was the best player and he's not playing him because of Amorin's own thoughts and feelings, irrespective of whether he's good or not, if Amorin's not picking the best side on purpose, if Amorin's not playing Lemens, even if Lemens is a great keeper, and if he's not playing Lemens because he's annoyed because he didn't get his first choice, then that's when I would want to see him go. Because I can put up with a manager giving his heart and soul, being stubborn with his tactics because he knows it's right. I can put up with him not having his own players. I can put up with him, you know, not winning games, but he's trying the best with the players that he's got. But the moment that Amorin starts to put his own personal vendetta against the club or whatever it is first before this team, and you will be able to tell because I'm starting to sense it, then that's for me when he needs to go. The moment he puts his own self agenda before the club, that for me is when he needs to go. And I'm starting to sense this with the Lemens stuff, with the fact that, you know, there are certain positional changes that he needs to be allowed to make because he is the manager, and we need to respect that. But to the detriment of this team, then that's when I say he's going to sack himself, is because the moment he starts to do that, and I can see him doing a Jose. I can see him. The one thing that concerns me is I can see Amorin imploding. I can see him just absolutely just imploding, you know, having to go at people, having a tantrum. I can just see that. So, and we've been saying this for, you know, the sort of last thing that I wanted to sort of end on as well is the fact that we've been talking about this for the last couple of days, weeks, and this is why this community is so amazing, is because we've been saying this. Look, have Ineos made a mistake? Amorin could be the right guy, but he may not be the right guy. This is something that we need to accept. So this conversation now is not about Amorin in or Amorin out. Many of you are Amorin out. This is for me now. What is in the best interests of this club? I know what the best interests are. To me, they are removing the Glazers, like getting rid of the debt. And then that's not going to happen. So what is the next best thing for this club? So I think the next international break, and just because we won a game which we should all be happy about, celebrate, but we need to move on because we need to demand more from both Amorin and from this team as well. You need to visit your family and friends in Liverpool and learn what Man United really stands for. Stay true to your traditions. Change is good, but evolution is necessary. Lee says, never mind all that. You becoming a... Oh, Lee. Look, Lee, right? Look, Lee, right? Mate, right? You're coming on here making a comment with your England flag, right? Could you be any more of a meme if you tried? Look, mate, I get it, right? But we are not the channel for that, mate. I'm 42 years old. I pay my taxes. I make my votes. I send my kids to school, right? I have many friends from across the entire world, right? Look, just this is not the place for that. I'm sure there are other platforms, Lee, for you to go and push your agenda. This is not that place to do that, my friend. Absolutely not that place. Day Trippers, Cockney Reds, we support our local team. You support you and I, but you're from London. Eddie F. What does that matter, mate? Eddie F. We've had this before, right? I think Eddie F. I think that argument that you're from London, but you support a team on the other side of the world, or you support a northern team, I think is very lame. I think it's a very, very narrow-minded view to have. And depending who you support, right? You don't know that I don't support my local team. You don't know anything about me. You don't know what I do. Now, I do work for different things. I don't come out and say, you may support your Cockney Red side, but I run for charity, ever done. So, mate, don't come on here and judge people, because I'm sure that I can say things that I've done that you've not done. So, yeah. If a player sacrifices, it's God, I can't really read it. You're putting your pride before your club is not a manager, exactly, and that's exactly my point. If a player sacrifices everything for a team, yet the team exists only because of the individual brilliance, is a true teamwork selfless. GBT tonight. You're Amorin out there. 7-0, and you still went home early. ADF, mate. Look, mate. ADF, I think you basically need to, I don't know, mate. This is definitely not the platform for you, because your banter is shit. I mean, if you're coming on here, mate, and you're saying, "Oh, you live in London, you can't support United, and we beat you 7-0." I mean, mate, seriously, there are channels made by children that I think you probably would get quite a lot out of that. I think there's one called what's the one called that my kids like? It's Cocomelon. So I think I think probably that's more your level. I understand your point on your manager. I respect the loyalty and backing, but there are deep-rooted issues at the club only Englishmen, Dutchmen, or German can resolve. I mean, I don't think it really matters about where they're from, but I don't know. I think Amorin till the end of the season, if he sacks himself, there's a bit. Yeah, Scott. I think. I sort of, that's, I think what I'm going to say is, I think that it's, I want to do something different. And I think I'm sort of with Scott on this one, is that let's get to the end of the season. If Amorin is not the guy, he is not the guy. Sacking a manager now never works. So, I think that I've got my own opinion on this, and I'm not going to really share it because I sort of hope I'm wrong. But like as I've said, for me, that is the way that Amorin. That is the way that I'm Amorin now. It's basically if Amorin puts his own agenda before the club, then at that point I'm out. I'm out. Amorin seems to me to be trying to put square pegs in round holes. I agree. He will ruin the whole academy too. Nice transition. Lee says, "Oh, Lee." Lee. So not only have you gone for the old the BNP flag, but we sound like women. Never mind all you talking about other grown men and what, Lee. Honestly, I do think, and I support men's charities. I'm a big advocate for men's charities. I do all sorts of stuff around men's mental health. Lee, genuinely, my friend, honestly, sounds to me like you need to either change your friendship groups or you need to come on here and just come and have a chat, mate. Because you've gone from, not only now have you gone from not liking people of a certain race, or now you're attacking women. I mean, Lee, you are just a meme. Lee is a meme right now. I'm going after these two games for me getting a roller into the next 2-week break. You don't have the balls to implode. He's a little chipmunk, but he stole the show at Anfield, so you might be right. Lee have a day off. Oh God, I know, right? Not big games at Chelsea. Lee, who took your job? Right. Come on, let's all of us have a talk to Lee for a second. Lee, right? What do you do for work? Okay. Like, I literally don't care. Like, I'll give the same respect to somebody who works as a binman. Like, I'll give you some history, right? My granddad, right, was an uneducated man. He taught himself to read. He basically worked for the council for 40 years. He bought his own house, had his wife and kids. Proud man, right? Never set the world on fire, never said boo to a goose. One of the best men in the world that you could ever meet, right? So I respect everybody from a bin man all the way up to the king, right? So I want to know, Lee, what's your job and who took your jobs? Like, who took your job? No one's taken my job. So just tell me, in words, who took whose job? I'm confused. Amorin out for me. The interviews with Sky Sports are like crisis management is really a commercial club, and I hate it. That's a good point. And again, this is what I mean about my reasoning is never around necessarily the players, because I don't think any manager. It's now what is Amorin going? It's going to come a point for me where it's going to become an untenable situation for Ineos. I almost feel right now that Amorin is trying to push himself out the door. I think only Fergie could solve our problems somehow, mate. Fergie's 80 years old, mate. He's done and dusted. Lee, why would I be about the Alkies and Lolas who drained my country? You're not famous anymore. Oh, I reckon ADF and Lee should form their own group or club because he's brilliant. I love it. Lee's Emmy, hilarious. It is so true. It's so true. And Lee's saying we're cringe. Oh, it is hilarious, mate. Hilarious. Emmy, I agree with you completely. I think Lee's been hurt by somebody. As a science man, you may agree. Suffering from atrophy. Funny name to call your mum. ADF and Lee just grew hairs on his lap. Oh, hilarious. Lee lives in his mum's basement buying used bathwater from your Poundland, Liverpool. ADF is making me laugh. I have to admit, mate, you look, there are other channels to go on to, mate, who would love your lowbrow, or your crap, mate. Yeah, we know, mate. Does looking at men in shorts make us, or does ignoring our own kids while they're living villas make us worse? While there's living villas, I don't know, mate. I don't think it does, mate. No, I think no. See, I need to be careful what I say, or the video will get banned. But no, it doesn't, mate. Look, if you're concerned about that, you don't need to be. Right? Everybody is accepted on here, no matter what you do, no matter who you. Other than Lee, who Lee is clearly living in a basement, but Lee's welcome here as well. But yeah, weak dude, you just sit back and watch men run around, then bury your head in the sand. Lee, as I've said, mate, right? I bet, Lee, I bet I pay more tax than you do. I bet I've contributed more to society than you have. And why should I have you, who lives with your mum in the basement, tell us all good people on here what we should do according to Lee? It's not Lee's world. There's a good song actually by Tenacious D called Lee. That's a good song. But yeah. So I'm weak. So even though Lee, so even though today, Lee, I've been to work, traveled to a different part of the world, paid train fares, so keeping people on the trains employed. I've bought things in shops, so keeping them employed. I've come to stay away in a hotel. I've kept them employed. I've done a hard day's work. I've come back doing this. So, Lee, I probably think I do more than you, mate. Lee, pop down my house and say it to my face. I love it. 77. Oh, ADF, mate. I love you. You're like a meme. I love it. Lee. Oh, guys. Have you seen Snoop Dogg's cartoons? Old Trafford is Heathrow Terminal 3 on match days. Oh, ADF, mate. Honestly, this guy is giving me low testosterone vibes, mate. I'm not even going to get into a dick swinging thing with you, mate, because you'd lose on many accounts, mate. You'd lose many times over for many reasons. ADF at 85% season tickets. Exactly, Lee. I love it. He's like Superman if he takes off the glasses. Exactly, mate. Exactly. Scott, that's twice you've mentioned kids. Yeah. What is in your head? How weird. No, Lee, mate. I genuinely think, my friend, you giving off some really weird vibes, mate. Just banter, mate. Relax. Banter is what makes the greatest rivalry in football. Miss it, to be honest. Eddie, look, Eddie F, mate. You are welcome on here, my friend. Welcome at all. Look. We get all sorts of people on here. Eddie F, welcome, my friend. Banter is absolutely cool on here. We just don't like Lee. I think that's what we're going to come here to. The BNP flag, good one, wet wipe, and the flag is your flag. The flag, Lee. Do you know what the funny thing is? The English flag isn't my flag. I'm Welsh, so actually, Lee, thinking about it, yes, I'm Welsh. I've come into your country and I'm taking your jobs, which is really funny, because if you're English, then you're a Saxon, and Saxons are not from this country, and I'm Welsh, and I'm a Celt, and I'm from this country. So actually, Lee, I think you're fine. You're the one that needs to fuck off, mate. Lee needs to come to America. Lee ain't got a job. Exactly. Did you know Mohammed is the most common boy's name? What do you want me to do about it, Lee? Okay. People name their kid. He can get that in Manchester, yeah. Mohamed Salah, if he came, yeah. Honestly, Lee, so brave to pick on Mo. Someone call the Scousers. Exactly. Lee looks like sloth. I was a black cabbie driver who was doing the jobs for cheaper. Now you noticed who was doing that. Lee, mate, you're look, mate. Lee, you're like a meme, mate. So you're a cabbie. Honestly, look. So basically, Lee's pissed off at Uber. Like, don't be annoyed at us, mate, because you're annoyed at Uber. It's not us, it's Uber. Lee's even racist to his taxi. Oh, Jesus. You know that Uber is mainly driven, but don't worry, you are okay. So forget your fellow countrymen. Don't worry about your kids. You go and watch men run around in shorts. Mate, my children, mate. Do you know what the funny thing is, Lee, is that there's attitudes all over the world that fuel all sorts of stuff, yeah. And I don't think you realise that, you know, you're participating in a in a in a rhetoric that just feeds everything that you're trying to fight against. You know, it is ridiculous. So, wow. So right. So everybody now, right? Lee, as not only doesn't he like people with a suntan, he also doesn't like women, and now we have to be a certain persuasion. Lee is a meme in himself. Lee is Lee so is watching exactly. You know, he's watching a bloke on YouTube. You know, I've been relegated to the sofa again because Liverpool beat Southampton. Lee, I'm more than happy earning 70k a year. Happy days, kid. Rather watch blokes in shorts than. Oh, Emmy, you're cracking me up. Absolute cracking me up. Lee never played a single sport in his life. That's all he knows. He's the least. So you watch men run around in shorts, then gossip about it. Definitely got a load. Mate, look, Lee. It's just funny. I can't even get into that sort of thing, mate, because you lose so badly. Lee, you watch 22 men on a screen. You're watching a close up of one guy. Exactly. You know, let him guarantee Lee's fat, bored and missing teeth for the flag outside his window. Work from. Yeah, you watch men run around kicking a ball in shorts. You're a pathetic little boy. It's true. It is true. It's truly. Just ask your mum. How long do you ban Lee, talk football, Liverpool striker? No, Lee's fun. Listen here, lad. All this Liverpool and United scrapping is boss for a laugh. Exactly, mate. Exactly. It's all about passion and respect, and exactly, just bootly out. Oh yeah, but Lee's funny though. Please drop your address in London. I'll pop down and talk to your business. But yeah, Benja, bored at work. You got it. Your mother-in-law, bro, definitely got low testosterone though. Very strange watching the young men. Lee's obsessed. I do like Lee. He's cool. My flag is Lee's. I said, oh, cold logic. George flag honors. I know. Imagine who Lee finds out who discovered England first. Exactly. Jet Li. Oh, Bruce Lee. Oh, it's oh yeah, this is brilliant. Lee's team must be in shambles for him to. I know Lee's in pieces. Oh, I love it. Rather football is a load of bollocks. I'd rather James. Look, James, please don't do that, my friend. Please don't hit anything with a hammer. Just it's just not worth it. Jesus, guys, Lee's definitely got. There's only 2 teams in England that matter: City, Gunners, Chelsea, Spurs. Nothing but noise. Exactly, ADF. Exactly. Playlist I don't know, but the Celtic trial was the first in inhabitants. FYI, have been the easiest to wind up on here. You seem angry about. Oh, Lee's excellent. Lee, watch this back. What anger, like, have you seen, my friend? I think that Lee, I think you're confusing. You know, whilst you're strangling yourself with your mum's panties and sniffing on some bins, mate, if you think this is anger and we're wound up, I mean, mate, strange lad. Anyway, I'm going to go an hour and 36 minutes. Absolutely amazing WhatsApp chat. Arrow, you've missed a lot. Arrow, you've missed a lot. You've missed Lee. I do hope Lee comes back. I do like Lee. Lee's got a very interesting opinion on but yeah, Lee's a legend. Lee was dropped on his. You have got all worked up over a comment. Oh, Lee. I like Lee. This Lee guy sounds awesome. He is, mate. Arrow. Lee is a legend now of this chat. Yeah, Lee's a legend. So, guys, I am going to go. Amazing tonight. Probably one of the funniest shows. I know, we get people in here sometimes, and they do make the show. You guys are amazing, but it's people like Lee, a black cabbie, by the way. So if you are in London, I wonder if Lee reacts. Oh, ME, it is, isn't it? It's Arteta out, isn't it? It is. It's that Arteta out. Get out my black cab, Arteta out. Just ban it. Yes, mate. Eddie F, come back, my friend. Welcome, as always, my friend Lee. Please come back. Please don't be. I know we're very, very angry, but Lee, please come back. We miss you. Already. But guys, amazing show. Thank you so much for being here. A big special mention to Lee in the chat tonight. Quality on his own. I think he could argue with himself. But yeah. Guys, legend show, as I would always say, so important for me to say this at the end of these shows, is in life you cannot buy time, you cannot buy health. And the fact that you guys spend time here with me, I mean, I'm away, it's 12:30 at night. I mean, basically just like having a laugh with you guys, talking about stuff that, is I love it. It's just amazing. Lee, you are welcome back, mate. Honestly, Lee, come back. Look, you're not, just come back. I mean, legend. So guys, yeah, just this channel means nothing without you guys. It means nothing without the banter. It means nothing without the mods. I know you guys do a fantastic job. All the good stuff, the bad stuff, we try not to hide from questions on here as well. So, Lee for PM. I mean, I think you do wonders in this country. Don't worry, I'll be back, Lee. We look forward to it, mate. We really do. But yeah, guys, I mean, this channel is nothing without you guys, without the banter, without this stuff. So I genuinely mean it. Like, thank you so much. I do support Arsenal. Lee, please don't tell us that. Please don't tell us that, Lee, because you are Lee from Lee. It is Lee, isn't it? From AFTV. It is Lee from it. It is. Oh, bloody hell, Lee. Honestly, Lee. Seriously, buddy. But no, guys, amazing. Why is there no because I'm married, and because otherwise my missus will kill me. Look, I just can't do it. Yeah, guys, you are all amazing. Please don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe. Tell your friends, tell your good friends. Come here. Amazing channel. So, guys, thank you so much for being here. Take care of yourselves. Take care of your family. Take care of your black cab, especially for Lee. But no, be safe out there, guys. And I will be back tomorrow. I might be doing it on a train from Leeds tomorrow, but I will be back at some point tomorrow. So, guys, take care of yourself. I mean it. And I will see you guys tomorrow. So have a good rest of your morning, evening, wherever you are. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.